Alright, hi guys, this is Paul. Welcome back to Physical Trader. And today I'm going to talk about why it's really important for you to be able to identify trend as a commodity trader. And also, why it's really, really important for you to be understand which situations so that you could protect your family, so that you could make more money, could build a wealth, could change your life, could be better. And I just have a call with one of my clients in Iraq. The country right now, everybody that want to fly out is almost impossible because all the flyers stopped. Iranian people, they shooting some rocket on the air to 15 countries around the area where they have a US base. And the situation is sort of intense. And the US, they're also not gonna chill with the fact that the Iranians just shooting a bunch of their base. So we don't know how long the war gonna keep going, and we don't know when it's gonna stop. But there's one thing that you certainly could see, all right? Certainly, that the trend of the Middle East get into more conflict is pretty clear. It's extremely clear that you're gonna see many Middle East countries get involved into conflicts. We got Israel on the land, the shooting around the rocket. We got Iran pretty aggressive with what they're doing. We got the Hamas, we got Syria, we got these regions where it's like a hot pot of war. And I don't think it's a good idea for you guys to stay there for any longer. So the reason why I give a call to my client, since he's a millionaire in the Middle East, he's doing the import business in the Middle East. He import many things to Iraq since his race is he's an Iraqi person, right? He was born in Iraq. He had 4 wives, and he's a pretty amazing dude. He looked like a gangster, top G in Iraq. So I was sitting there and have a conversation with him, and I curious how life going in Iraq right now. Can he go to the market to purchase meat, to purchase some egg, to just live in day-to-day life? And I'm pretty happy that everything's still good, even though the supply chain right now is totally cut, which means that if you want anything, the Iraqi people, they cannot even import it to the country anymore. Why? Because the Iranian control that part of the ocean right now, and every ship want to get there gonna be had to facing the military power and the threat of the Iranian people, Iranian government. So I feel bad for my client also, since he's a millionaire and he had the ability to flee the country any time that he wanted. While these things happened, and he didn't decide to do so, which is really bad thing. So I hopefully that this story could bring you the insights of what should you do in terms of when something that happened. Let's say there's a war between a country like Iran, Iraq, Syria, and your country is just nearby. If you have a chance to flee to another countries, all right, just go to another country. And some of you are gonna say, Paul, why don't we become a portraited person and go out there and just shooting the gun in order to protect our countries? Look, man, if you're dead, you cannot protect your countries. If you're dead, you cannot rebuild your country, you cannot love your country. So it doesn't matter what you say, you cannot control what these idiot government people on the top of society decided that they want to do. If they want to shoot a rocket, with that. That's all you can do. You can make decision to bring your whole family to another country, start a new life, and then come back with financially status that you're already building, the asset you're building in the other country, to go and rebuild your country after the war ends. But when the war is keep going on, I don't think that you want to be dead. You could love your country. You could be a patriot, all right? But you don't want to be dead. So if some of you who love to shooting guns, who love to go to war, love to go and shooting these missile, then it's fine too. You know, some of you just have the passion. I don't have the passion. And when you identify something like that going to happen, the war going to happen, the intent is going to be rising up, the best way for you as a person who have the ability to flee, you should just flee to another country, live a good life, drink that coconut, and then enjoy your life, building a business around a new area. You already had the skill to sell product, you already have skill to purchase commodities, you already have the skill to do business in one country and send product to another countries. There's nothing that you need to worry about much, all right? All you need to do right now is that you need to identify the trend before things happen so that you could flee out that. All right, on my family side, I have 3 uncles fled the Vietnam on 1975 after the North side take control over the whole country, since the part of the city that we were living is related to the US a lot, and our family side related to the US a lot. My grandpa actually is a spy of the US team, so that after the war he went to jail for 7 years and then get released back to the society of Vietnam. And he got a heart attack when he arrived on the land, the soil of the US, so it's pretty not a happy ending for sure. But the thing is, my family identified the trend was a little late, all right? We are on the US side, but we waited until the war ended, and then we decided to flee. And because we waited that long, we cannot change much. Our grandpa still had to go to jail, prison. He cannot flee to the US. But luckily that my uncle somehow went to the US at the peak of the economies of the US. Their power of money is strong, the military is strong, and they are the top of the world. You can work a 9-to-5 job and then purchasing a bunch of home, the economy extremely well. You're not going to get the same condition of life in the US nowadays if you went to the US, all right? I'm not just talking about the war things. There are many other aspects that you could using the trend to identify and go there and change your life and make a decision for your family member. As a man, as a person who in charge of your family, who want to take care of your family. So let's say that you could see that right now on my eyes, I see the fall of the US economy. Right now on my eyes, I could see the fall of the Iranian countries group. So if you live in there right now, surely the next few years, or maybe next 5 to 10 years, the economy gonna be bad. The situation gonna get worse. So why would you stay? Why don't you move to some places like Southeast Asia, like Vietnam? If you have a choice, all right, if you're a person who already have money in order to retire, you're a wealthy person, why don't you move to the Southeast Asia country like Vietnam, like China, all right? China getting extremely powerful right now. Or Thailand, all these peaceful countries that we all love to building economies, to do business. And we have the culture that we think that violence is something that stupid people do. Actually, that's what we think in our mindset. And you're not gonna see any Vietnamese people that have a bunch of money go out there and talk like a gangster. They're not gonna do these things, all right? They want to be polite, they want to be nice, and they not respect the finding on the street like the US right now. So if you identify these things, you want your kid to grow up in an environment where they are not become these gangsters, these idiots, and you don't want your kid to live in the economy that's getting worse and worse, and the country that's getting weaker and weaker. You don't want your kid to be in this situation. You want your kid to be in a society where it's growing every single year. It's have a bunch of new opportunity popping up, and you see a bunch of young people walking on the street and decided to do more business, run our business, and just start up a bunch of startup. It's just a beautiful thing to see. Why don't you just make a move? What are you waiting for? Look, I'm extremely young. I'm 21 years old. But I already decided that I'm gonna left the US to get back to Vietnam and start my business and take care of my family there. And in the way that I do business, I'm still able to identify the trend that I see charcoal use gonna be reduced in next couple of 10, 20, 30 years. So I will need to open a new product line. I do understand all these things happen around my life, so I could make the decision beforehand, before bad thing happen and I have to react upon the event. No, I don't want to do these nonsense. I want to react to it before it happens. So you could see why I'm shooting this video right now. Oh, because I want to have more friends, alright? There's some dude from Africa contact me. There's some dude from Malaysia. There's some dude from Singapore contact me. And I could easily giving values to these people to the point where sometimes, someday, maybe I want to fly out to this country. I have gonna be a bunch of people that want to do business with me, that want to help me, that understand who I am. So the thing is, you need to be able to identify trend, and you acting on that trend with a long-term mindset. So at the end of the day, even if the event is the war gonna happen in your countries, you're able to flee beforehand. If your country about to get called out in terms of economy and all these things, you could move your business to another countries. You can move your family to another countries where developing better society safer. You could identify your specific commodities is gonna be blooming or gonna be reduced so that you could get into that or get out that. All these things, you can do it all. So please, just don't wait as a commodity trader, as a man, as a person who wants to take care of your family. Go ahead and change your life. Do things better. Make decisions, tough decisions, based on the long-term trend that you see. And that's the video today. Thank you and welcome back to Physical Trader. Hopefully that you could getting something out of this. Ciao.